the hashtag Newsnight. Okay, I'll take a look at some of the things you were saying. This was you in another life, I think. You said, I remember this was actually the article. Do we have some of those? Yeah, you said it was titled, "Let Us Rethink." I think it was 25th August 2017.
Yeah.
At the height of the election, yeah?
Yes, yes.
You said, "Let us rethink democracy as it is not serving us well."
Yeah.
Okay. Part of the things you said, first is, "I have come," and I'm quoting you, that is, I have of late come to a point of entertaining thoughts that promote the opposite of freedoms and democracy." Opposite of freedoms and democracy.
Yeah.
You went ahead to say, "For a start, it is my opinion that democracy is bad."
Yeah.
Maybe in the Kenyan setup or Africa as a whole, I actually do not think it is good for the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you went ahead to say, "We have held many other polls before. It is time we audited this culture. Are we engaging in some kind of foolish consistency and fear to explore alternatives, or are we still entertaining democracy because we have tangible benefits from it?"
Yeah.
I miss Libya under Muammar Gaddafi. Serenity, abundance, development defined it. It has now descended into ruins and amid democracy and expanded freedoms, and many more. Right. Just this one I have to read.
Yeah.
What our country needs is a benevolent dictator with a clear mission of making Kenya great. You said he should appoint judges, order hanging of the corrupt, and oversee a cleanup of our systems. He must be given a free hand to make things right on our behalf.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Institutions have proved to be moribund. And you, again, when you have too little to lose, it is prudent to look out. Democracy is expensive and clearly not working. It is time we explored the alternatives, and the right alternative is a benevolent dictatorship. You are now, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, complaining of your freedoms being curtailed, infringed upon. Are you a different person now? What does that say about you? Then you were enjoying power, isn't it?
I am the same person. I am not enjoying power. I'm serving people. Okay.
Do you still believe in all these things you said?
I believe in them 100%, Hussein.
So why are you complaining now?
If you remember, and you have read the date when I actually wrote that article, our country was descending into ruins out of some people who were defeated in polls, not accepting the results. And of course, Hussein, we saw excessive freedoms and people going beyond the freedoms, their freedoms, to exercise their freedoms. Because you cannot, you cannot tell me that people will burn other people's shops and vandalize, and you call that freedoms. But, Hussein, I am an economist background, and that was more of an ideological, economic ideological manner, other than political.
This is very political. When you're talking about democracy,
let me explain.
And infringing on freedoms, that is very political.
It is very related, Hussein. And I'll take you back even to history. If you look at the data between the year 1961 to 2011, you'll see that countries in East Asia grew by 7.3% within that period, holding other factors constant. Latin America, which is also some kind of democracy within that time, grew by around 3.8%. Africa grew by 3.5%. Other developed democracies, like the US, the UK, and others, within those years, Hussein, it grew by around 3.2%. Economically speaking, if I quote a country like China, if I quote a country like South Korea, and especially China, in the era of Deng Xiaoping, you'll see that he was ruling through an iron fist. If you go to Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew was ruling through, of course, he was a benevolent dictator, so to say. Muammar Gaddafi, I quoted him there. He was a benevolent dictator. You
know who else talked about a benevolent dictator? Honorable Murade. Now you don't seem to agree with him.
I mean, let me explain.
My question is,
it is a very broad
subject,
and
that is why I'm very specific.
Let me narrow down.
I'm very specific when I'm asking you about freedoms, the opposite of freedoms and democracy. You are now complaining because your freedoms have been curtailed. That is what you're complaining about. Because of what you believe in. Because of expressing yourself and who you support. So what has changed?
Hussein, I'm a generalist. Generalist, I look at the general good. The general good is the common Singaporean now is living a better life than a normal Kenyan. Yet we have been a democracy for all that long. A common Chinese now They are actually invading our country because they are stronger.
Okay.
It's not a democracy.
So you're still standing by this?
I am standing
by that.
Why are you
complaining about your freedoms then?
Hussein,
because you're
supporting
people who, you're supporting a system that doesn't care about freedoms. You're supporting dictatorship.
Let me also put it this way.
Yeah.
There are three things into a modern state. One is a strong state.
Yeah.
Number two is rule of law.
Okay.
And number three is accountability. The sequence matters. Countries that has democracy before a strong state mostly and usually descends. They never grow. Because a strong state instills competencies within the system. But when you have democracy first, and I can quote so many African countries, from Nigeria to others, including our own country, our fragmentation is more ethnic and sectarian. But if you look at democracies that have grown to be very strong, they started from industrialization. Industrialization brought a class called working class and middle class, based on incomes. And out of there, people who are empowered economically demanded for more freedoms. African countries, we are the other way around. You know, we have more freedoms, we have weak states. That is why even in Kenya, we have a state where a person can be arrested, taken to court, and there is actually nothing for them to present against that person.
Fair enough. I mean, that's your political, I mean, how you'd want the political structure to look like and what you think would work. Fair enough. And I mean, that is within your rights.
And I was saying maybe to wrap up that.
Yeah. And I mean, people have different views about how they would want a structure of government to look.
As a human being.
That is fine.
As a human being who's saying to wrap up that. I would actually rather be led in a country that is rich than be a leader in a country that is poor. What am I trying to say? The end justifies the means,
like
so to
Kenya.
say broadly.
Like Kenya.
If I got a person in Kenya who will crush corruption, even if it includes hanging people at Uhuru Park, I'll be a very happy Kenyan.
You regret the leadership
because
of Kenya,
it was done in Singapore, it worked. It has been done in China, it has worked. Instead of Kizugumi, we give to the Kenyan people a lot of legalities, going to this court and the other, and the common Kenyan knows we go up or down, our jails belongs to the poor. We need a person to liberate our country. You still have to prove somebody is corrupt, isn't it? We need a very strong leader, either to create that person from the constitution. We need a cleanup in our systems. And I've said that not as a leader, but as a Kenyan. You're also indicting yourself as a leader right now. But either way, I'm inducting our system. Okay. Either way, let me get a bit more specific. You don't want to answer my question. This is what you said. This is what was, I think, on your Facebook page on 13th October. You've answered many questions. That's what you're saying. Okay. This is what you said. You said on your Facebook page on 13th October 2017, I congratulate our security men for protecting innocent Kenyans from hooligans, goons, thugs, and barbarians in the name of NASA supporters. Their diabolical attempts must be met with strong force of law. We passed enough billions in the supplementary budget to cater for tear gas. You went ahead to say, I actually propose, this is interesting, that Interior Ministry, the one that you're really against right now, you said, I actually propose that Interior Ministry leases the Kenya pipeline facilities to have enough tear gas in Kisumu, Migori, and specifically 1/6 pipe for Kondele. Kenya is for us all, and some sole losers will not be allowed to destroy our businesses and economy. You talked about an image. You must go for the planners and generals and reserve enough for the rest. The former Kibera MP must get this kind of dose when he's back from his UK trip. We are African and Africa is our business. Hussein,
now you are against this Interior Ministry.
Once upon a time.
Because things have changed for you politically, isn't it?
Once upon a time.
You're on the receiving end now.
Once upon a time, of course, I was very critical and kind of revolutionary, maybe because of age, and maybe some language was very harsh, especially to those people who were being meted by the excesses of power. And Hussein, my point to that is that in Kenya, yes, we need all the freedoms. Including myself, I need to, of course, enjoy my freedoms. But if I am to enjoy my freedoms at the expense of Hussein, then Hussein, those are not legitimate freedoms. And holistically to say, Hussein, all the countries have had critical junctures, and maybe I was foreseeing a critical juncture for our country. Because then, of course, when I was writing those things, it was at the height of the post-election skirmishes. And, of course, people refusing to
So you regret what you're saying? You regret these things that
the language, but not the content. The language, maybe I was a bit harsh, but the content, I think I agree with it. But I was talking about critical junctures. By then, I was very thoughtful. Maybe that's why I write even on newspapers. Yeah. Because I like reading, especially history. Yeah. And many countries have had critical junctures. You go to Japan, in around 1800, we talk about Meiji Restoration. Of course, I'm sure you know about the Glorious Revolution in the UK. You know about China, I referenced, especially China, after Mao Zedong, around the 1940s. Transiting to Deng Xiaoping, sorry, 1978, transiting to Deng Xiaoping. You remember, of course, it was a very critical juncture for China and for the other countries that I quoted. And maybe then, I was foreseeing such kind of a critical juncture that would come and wipe out all the evils and all the excesses that we have in our society, clean up, because our country, Hussein, and I want to repeat, we need to align our things. Maybe we are so fragmented, especially on ethnic crimes. Maybe we are so corrupt, even in our minds. We just need to do something to streamline our country. Maybe I was foreseeing that critical juncture, and many times, of course, it is never too peaceful.
But you still don't regret what you said? Because you're saying you don't regret the content.
The harshness of the language.
But the content you don't regret.
And especially given now, things have changed really much. And now we have a more peaceful country than it was then. And especially, I was a member of Jubilee, and I don't want to
You're still a member of Jubilee,
Yeah, I'm even talking about then. And Hussein, one of the, maybe, I don't know whether it's a trait or a weakness about me, is that when I believe about something, I hold on there. Of course, I've been a sycophant, and I want to say, I've been a sycophant of Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. Because I don't like being warm. I'm either cold or I am hot. So that if I give myself into service of something, then I have to do it fully for me to realize tangible results. And maybe that's why we have been able to achieve so much in Kiharu, insofar as development is concerned. We may not have time to enumerate all that, but you can get some time and come. I'll take you to the many tarmac roads. I'll take you to over 26 shopping centers already lit. I'll take you to schools, public schools, which have tiles in Kiharu. I'll take
and there's no doubt, even from the feedback, that there are many that also support you.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful for the people of Kiharu.
And I'll read one more Facebook post. I just have to do it, okay? This is, again, what you said. If Wakora rules against the people of Kenya tomorrow, the president should declare a state of emergency for 6 months and suspend the constitution. Within this period, you're talking about the judiciary. Within this period, he should rule by the fist, make judiciary a department of the executive, and redeem our country from dark forces by scrapping some useless entities like the Supreme Court. Useless entities. These characters must behave tomorrow. There's no two-way about it. We are African, and Africa is our business.
Oh, lie. That's a good line.
Up to now, right?
Yeah, up to now, I use it. And Hussein, I think I still hold on there. I mean, we can improve on many facets.
Okay.
But many of the thoughts that you've read, of course, I have been there and I'm still there.
All right.
Yeah.
There's one person here called Adan from...
And sorry, I was referencing on Wakora. Maybe you are taking me too fast.
Yeah.
I told you I'm a sycophant. And I don't regret even that name.
Up to now, you're a sycophant.
I am a sycophant of Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, William Ruto.
Until now?
And of course, when the president... he was very furious because we had won the race, and of course it was overturned. And maybe we were very emotional then because we had worked so hard to get to State House. And for me, I was referencing, I'm sure you know about another Wakora somewhere else. Being a sycophant, I copied that much.
You copied it?
I copied that much.
You couldn't care what
when I believe in you, Hussein, like I believe in Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, even if you come and arrest me in Kiharu, you may not change much.
You know, the team, the so-called Keleweke, say you only believe in William Ruto, not Uhuru Kenyatta. And I've enumerated an example here of how you are rubbishing the BBI as a blue band initiative. Yet you've heard what the person you're saying you're a sycophant of President Uhuru Kenyatta has been saying about BBI. That is not really being a sycophant, is it?
Probably my weakness is not wanting to be politically correct most of the time. I look at things using my mind. And using my mind, I can tell you, Hussein, I have listened to the people of Kiharu, and my mind is more inclined there because I'm here at Citizen TV, courtesy of Kiharu people. Kiharu people, I have listened to them. You have talked about, of course, allegiance to William Ruto versus Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't know where you got that.
No.
Because...
I'm just asking you about specific instance.
Yeah, like which one?
Because the president has several times talked about the Building Bridges initiative and the handshake, and that being the product of the handshake, and how it is important, and you have rubbished it before it even does its work. It hands in its report.
What I am against is what has been proposed by the other partner of the handshake. And I've told you, Hussein, I don't like a lot of political correctness. I face things as they are. When you go to the public domain and talk about 5 positions, and you talk about changing the position, the structure of governance, what comes to my mind and the people of Kiharu? Have we even implemented fully the constitution that we have before we load actually more burden to the Kenyan population? That is where I hold. And it may not be politically correct, but I can tell you, the Kenyans out there, anything that adds to the muzigo, I think I'm speaking for the people who elected me.
All right, but you're still saying you are a sycophant. I have a text here I said from Adan in Wajir, who's saying, if you are so against the Interior Principal Secretary, why don't you impeach him? Because you can do that through Parliament.
It's a long process.
Even report him.
It's a long process. To who? I keep asking. Report the PS for Interior to who? To
the people who appointed him, the people you are a
Because I'll be told to go to the police station.
The president,
Which police station will I go to report such a PS?
No, I'm talking about the president.
And where?
He's the appointing authority.
I mean, the president has a lot of work, Hussein. And I cannot sack the president into these political wars. And I am telling you, for the right, Hussein, some of us are being fought politically, and I have named individuals, because when you fight the people who are against our cause, then of course you are dissenting. And I want to tell you, these are saboteurs as far as I'm concerned, because we set the Jubilee agenda, we come together on the basis of unity. You cannot now then splinter and start again talking about hate. At the very least, talk about the person you are selling, don't talk about the person you hate. Out there we have had the fragmentations that are being fed by the said person. The message is always one. This person is bad, this person is this and that. Why can't you just go and sell your agendas positively without referencing on the ills and the weaknesses, which are ostensible weaknesses of the person you dislike? I think we need to be a bit more objective, even myself as a leader.
All right.
So that when I go to Kiharu, even if I am a sycophant of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, let me talk about them.
All right.
And stop referencing about the people I have no business with.
Finally,
and also, these people, because I know they have political ambitions, and I've told you before, we have seen a CS being installed as a spokesman of a tribe, and people saying this is a presidential candidate. That is there, Hussein. You brought it on Citizen TV. So we know these people have ambitions. What I would challenge them and request them, we have a big house called Jubilee, and we have no automatic candidate. Even Jubilee, including myself, Ndindi Nyoro, nikijishika hivyo nisikie naweza pigania hiyo kiti, let us go in there, fight for it. But if that is not possible, then sell your candidature without necessarily referencing your competition.
You've been seeing the feedback, and many actually saying your political star has now risen after this completely. I don't know what you think yourself.
I hope so.
All right. Of course, about that story, you're talking about Cabinet Secretary Matiang'i and all. That story has been there, no doubt.
Yes,
but he has not said it himself. You haven't reported that he said it himself.
I know you're a bright man, Hussein.
Let's take a look at
you don't need to hear to understand.
Let's take a look at the feedback. Catherine Kamau, clearly we can never separate politics and the church. The relationship is completely symbiotic. Why are we still on this? Oh wait, it's about them and their selfish interests, okay? That's what she thinks. Still on Twitter, we have Waweru says, Honorable Ndindi is one of those MPs. The president said they need to stay in their respective constituencies and do what they were elected to do, but he's so obsessed with Tanga politics. Okay. Do you agree with that?
I think the reason why I came here basically was because of Sunday, which I was in Kiharu.
Of course, yeah. No, it's talking about generally that you've been very busy with Tanga politics.
I mean, what is Tanga politics?
You're the one who talked about
because
Tanga.
You baptized us Tanga, but the much we do, Hussein, is to go launching projects and of course assisting our houses of worship on Sundays.
All right.
People keep on saying that we should be concentrating on the Big Four agenda, which we always do, of course, by passing budget, etc. But my point is, Hussein, and I said I'm not politically correct. I look at things directly. Let me ask you, when I go to a church Harabe on a Sunday, what would I be doing alternatively? Which government office opens on a Sunday? So let us be practical. Even if you want to accuse me, Hussein, uni-accuse na kitu inaonekana. There is no government office that opens on a Saturday or a Sunday. That is my day to go to Kiharu, helping social issues, of course, because the other weekdays, I have time to go to offices, nikitafutia watu wa Kiharu maendeleo. But let us be honestly fair to politicians. It is a Sunday, you've been called for a church Harabe in Kiharu, you have friends who want to accompany you, they will come. Next time, you will be so selfish if they call you in Kimilili, if they call you in the other place, and you don't go. You also do that as journalists. You have your chamas. Maybe this is the time to help Hussein. I mean, we also have rights to associate among our colleagues. And that is what we actually do.
Wainaina Samuel says, Ndindi Nyoro should stand firm. We are a democratic country and no one should be harassed for their support or anyone other than the right people. Why hunt him when there were no charges? Using police to settle political scores. There's no doubt about that, there were no charges ultimately. There's no doubt about that. And of course, there are also those who are questioning why, Honorable Commander, there was no arrests, Honorable Commander. Judy Guantai, it is very much okay to be critical regardless of where and what position one holds. Things change with time, so do people and their opinions. You don't crucify this man for past decisions and utterances. And then somebody says, John Odhiambo, sorry, we have Eric Onchanji. Ndindi Nyoro is right. Kibicho is the one fighting Central Kenya leaders supporting Ruto because he himself has no time for Ruto. There's a rebellion in Central Kenya and it's good for Kenya. And you actually go ahead to say, and Uhuru is on his way out. Finally, with all these divisions in Jubilee, where do you see the Jubilee Party going? And what way forward for it?
Hussein, when we talk about...
You see it as going as a unit in the next election?
I believe in the power of Jubilee, Hussein. And specifically talking about Mount Kenya, because most of it you have referenced on Mount Kenya. We have 68 elected MPs in Mount Kenya region. 60 of us believe in Jubilee that was elected in 2017. Uhuru Kenyatta, it was being called Uhuruto. 8 of them believe in Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Let me put it blatantly, because I say it again, I don't like correctness. And when you talk about, again, these 8, like the time they came to Kiharu, there were other MPs from, of course, our competition. So, Hussein, I believe you are magnifying this so-called divide in Jubilee. I have gone to the basis of Jubilee, strongholds, like Kiharu. There is no single vote that Jubilee has lost. You can do your own opinion poll. If you talk about the votes Jubilee got, to me, I believe we may be having some few people up here, of course, shifting their allegiances, but I can tell you our core, our supporters, our members of Jubilee are intact. And I'm talking this with the facts. Because, as I said before, Hussein, the last thing a politician would do is to go against Raya. And just finish. And finally, Hussein, maybe this is on a light note, because I have a very good friend of mine called Victor Kinodia, who is one of your journalists. And is my constituent in Kiharu. And you know, many times I appear on such a show when we are using a foreign language. And I also get a lot of backlash.
When you're using a foreign
Kizungu inakaa Kikuyu. Because I can't change who I am. I mean, I went to a polling center primary school, just like Victor. And we must be proud of our identities. So I want to tell Victor, he's one of the best, vernacular reporters. And you know that, especially on Inoro. That is actually his job. That is his job. And he's brilliant at it. He was just holding brief the other side. Just maybe as I'm holding brief here, because I'm used to my vernacular. So he gave us a relief as a nation from my arrest. And I think we should be proud of our identities, where we come from. I am a hustler. I burnt charcoal to take myself to school. And I want to inspire other guys down there. I mean, even if you are not as eloquent as the other person, there are many more opportunities out here, and nothing of that nature, inconsequential matters, should bring us down.
Right.
So we have to keep hope alive as the youth of Kenya, encourage each other, lakini sio kuona mtu anateleza kidogo.
And you all now come to ridicule him.
Exactly.
And we have actually said that as well on Twitter. I mean, it's wrong, really. And we're all proud of him here at Royal Media Services. He's done a brilliant job as a reporter at Inoro TV and the radio. And he does well. He's a vernacular station reporter. He does well as well, same as the Citizen in the morning.
Exactly.
It was his first time doing a live link at 9 p.m. English, and it was chaotic, and he did well.
Exactly.
And of course, we are proud of him as a company. Honorable Ishungwa says, fact, the abuse and misuse of state agencies to wage political wars has a godfather in a PS and a patron of the Stop Ruto movement. But we have God, the Father. Many more texts coming in. Honorable Cherargei says, these people arrests should come to an end. Kenya is not a police state. The Constitution provides for freedom of opinion, speech, expression. The political persecution is not good for the country. A few weeks ago, well aware I suffered the same fate of political persecution because of my political affiliation. I stand with Honorable Nyoro, who shall overcome in the fullness of time. What do you think? Keep texting us. Number 2 on Twitter is the hashtag Newsnight. We are back after this break. Thank you again for making time for us.
Asante sana Hussein.
We appreciate it.
Asante.